Welcome to constructing the 3D Castle activity. In this activity, you will be using the following material. You will be using colored construction paper, stock paper, clear glue, glue stick, tape, ruler, eraser, pencil sharpener, pencil, scissors, and crayons. In this activity, we're going to put everything we've learned so far to use. Now that we're familiar with 2D shapes, 3D shapes, and a layout for a castle in 2D, we're going to put all of this information together to build a 3D castle. You will be using 3D shapes, you'll practice symmetry, and you'll be able to describe each part of the castle and where it goes. To start this activity, we're going to be using some colored construction paper and some brown cardstock. The colored construction paper is where we will draw our 2D template / nets. These patterns will become the 3D portions of the castle. Next part here is going to be creating the flat pattern that will become the walls of the 3D castle. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use this ruler and we're going to draw two flat patterns. These two flat patterns will come together to become the 3D portion of the walls and center of the castle. So we're going to start with measuring 3 inches and then another 4 inches, which is going to be 3 plus 4 is going to go to 7, and we'll add another 4 inches, which would be 7 plus 3, and we have 10 inches there. Okay, so I'm also going to make some markings. So we have 1, 2, 3. At 3 inches, I'm going to draw a line just to mark there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. At 7 inches, I'm going to make another line. And that's what we'll mark for there. Okay, so then I'm going to draw some lines that will go across. So as you can see, we have our first marking here, and I'm going to start there, and I'm going to measure 4 inches across, and then our second mark is here. I'm going to measure 4 inches across. Okay, so we have 4 inches, 4 inches, 4 inches. This last portion here will also be 4 inches. So that will complete a square. So we have a square here. Now remember, this part here was 3 inches. So we're going to measure 3 inches from here to here, and then from here to here, that is 4 inches. Okay. Now the other side, from here to here will be 3 inches, just like from here to here. And finally, from here to here will be 4 inches. And there you go. And if I annotate the dimensions, from here to here we have 3 inches. From here to here, we have 4 inches. From here to here, we have 3 inches. From here to here, it is 4 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, 3 inches, and then finally 4 inches. We're going to recreate a second version of this using the same exact dimensions. So we're going to do the same exact process to create a second version. Okay, now we have a copy of the same exact flat pattern. And again, this is 3 inches, 4, 3 inches, 4 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, 3 inches, and finally 4 inches. So we have the same exact flat pattern twice. And then we'll put this to the side and we'll work on the next part of the castle. Next, we're going to make the flat patterns for the towers. The towers are going to be 6 inches tall and also 6 inches in circumference. So what we will do is we will draw a square that is 6 inches, and then it's also another 6 inches and 2 more 6 inches. Okay, so now we have a square with equal sides. So I will make markings here, 6 inches all around. And there we go. Now we're going to have 4 towers. So I'm going to repeat this process and I'm going to have a total of 4 of these squares. Now that we have 4 of these 6-inch all around squares, which will be our towers, we are going to draw the bottom and top surfaces of the cylinders. And we're gonna need 8 circles for this, and then each of these circles will have a diameter of 2 inches. So what we will do here is that we will draw 2 inches from here to here, and we'll draw another 2 inches from here to here. Another 2 inches from here to here, and another 2 inches from here to here. Once we have that, I will draw 2 inches crossing, and then same thing here. Thing here, and last one. This line crosses the center of the other 2 inches. So now we're going to do our very best to make a circle around this. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but we'll do our best to create circles. Another circle. circle, and circle. And we're going to create 4 more of these. So now we have 8 of these circles. And next we're going to create the cones, so the rooftop cones. The next part we will be creating is the flat pattern for the cones or the rooftops. In order to do this, we're going to create something that looks like a triangle. It's going to be 6 inches wide. So I'm going to measure 6 inches from here to here. I'm going to make a marking at the 3 inches, like this. Okay. Then I'm going to draw a line that will go from here to here, which is 4 inches. Okay, so we have that line there. Now we're going to create the sides of the triangle. We're going to connect this line to the top of this line. So we'll use the ruler. Okay, so we have that side of the triangle. Connect this point to this point. Okay, so we have a triangle. Now we're going to draw one more part which goes from here to here, and we're going to measure 1 inch. So let's measure from 0 to 1. We have 1 inch. Okay. This is the bottom of the cone, and in order for us to create the bottom of the cone, we're going to have to draw what looks like a half circle. So we'll draw from here to this point, which looks like half of a circle. Now we look at the flat pattern and it looks like an ice cream cone. And we're going to do this 4 times. So we have to make sure that we can create this 4 times. Now that we have all of our flat patterns, it's time to start cutting. For the square, we're always going to cut outside of the square. For the circles, we will cut on the outside of the circles. For the rectangles, we'll cut outside of the rectangles. And for the triangle or ice cream cone looking shapes, we will cut outside. So I'm going to cut all of these shapes and then we'll continue from there. Now we have cut all the shapes, and just to reconfirm, we have 2 of these rectangles, 2 of the orange rectangles. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 of the red squares. We have 4 cone shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and finally we have 8 of these circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, next step, we start building. We're going to start with the rectangles as our flat patterns that will turn into 3D shapes. These will be put together and then they would be placed on the cardstock. So let's go ahead and start folding these on these lines. And again, we can use the ruler to make sure we're folding neatly on the lines. So there we go. And then we have another fold here. Okay, so we have 2 folds. Let's go ahead and fold the next flat pattern. There we go. Last fold here. There we go. Okay, so now we'll grab the tape. So we have the 2 patterns. We'll grab some tape. Grab a piece of tape. Now you can grab one of these and you can place it like this. So this gives us a 3D object. Now we have to make sure we can put all these faces together. So let's go ahead and start making edges. This would be the first connection here. We can now flip this. We will take this face. To this face. You have this face. To this face. And then this is the last face that's loose. So we can paste this face to this face. And now we have our walls for the castle. Okay, so we're gonna place that there. And we're going to glue this. So we'll glue the bottom. Spread the glue around. And place this in the center of the cardstock. Careful. Okay. So that's our first part of the 3D object. Next, we're going to create our towers with these squares. So what we'll do is we'll grab some tape. Then we'll grab a square and we will roll the square, the circle. And we will add some tape here. This will make sure that we have a circular tube here. And we're going to do the same thing for the rest of them. Once you are done, you're going to have 4 towers, and we are going to finalize the towers by placing these circular surfaces on the top and the bottom of the tower. So we're going to use tape. We're going to grab a good amount of tape here, and we're going to put it on one of the top surfaces. So we can place it like this, and then just let the tape grab the cylinder. Okay. So now that we have that, we'll do the same for the bottom face. Grab some tape. Okay, so we have a cylinder. We'll do the same thing for all of the towers. When you're done with your towers, you're going to glue them onto the cardstock. So I will grab glue. Make sure you use the clear glue, and then you can place the tower right where the corner is of the walls. And then we'll glue the rest of the towers as well. When the towers are glued, we need to wait some time for the glue to harden. So we'll put this to the side and we'll start working on the cones. These cones are going to be the rooftops for the towers. So the way we'll do this is we will grab some tape. We'll grab a cone and we will roll it into a circle like this. Make sure this edge is touching this edge, and the bottom portion will be circular. So then we could place some tape here. Okay. So that'll hold it. And we have our first cone. And we'll repeat the rest as well. Now that we have the 4 cones ready, we can place the cones on top of the towers, and this will be our rooftops. And we can use the glue here, so we can place glue in a circle on the rooftop, and then we can place the first rooftop on top of the glue. We can move the glue around to make sure that it will stick. Okay, so we have the first tower with the first rooftop, and then we're going to put the rest on top of the other towers as well. Great work, everyone. You used geometry, creativity, and language to build your 3D castle. Now use position and spatial language to describe and locate items and features of your castle. So you can use phrases such as on top of, next to, in front of, and around.